Hello, everybody. Jim Malone coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is Tuesday, and the market is, well, it is not. It's moving lower still. Not what we want to see, definitely. And it's just kind of it's one of those things. It's just one of those things. I'm pretty lightly invested right now. Hope you are too. We're waiting kind of for a signal to see that we're going to move, hopefully, higher here. Um, I have been working on a ready list for everybody out there. Nothing really to report very significant in terms of that. But I do have two stocks that I'm looking at right now. One that is sort of bucking the trend, and I'm really liking it. And just I don't own it, but definitely of interest here. It's a company, Northrop Grumman. You probably heard of it. Symbol NOC. And I kind of just want to take a look at this one really quickly for everybody out there. So let's switch on over on the let's see, yeah, switch on over on TikTok and take a look at this one and see if we can see kind of what we can see here. Um, Basically, what's going on here is that with this one, um, we have a stock that is bucking the trend. And this is very unusual because it's a down day today on the market. But for some reason, we're starting to see some good action on this one. Now it is a defense stock. It was up significantly today, up 24%. I think this has to do with the fact that it looks as if U.S. is going to sell arms to Taiwan. So this would definitely benefit Northrop Grumman. I want to kind of show you this. What kind of keyed me off on this? I've been doing a lot of sorts today and searches, and that's the stochastic indicator here. I don't know if you've taken a look at this one, but this is what this is an indicator that basically shows us momentum. And this definitely, we definitely have momentum. Now we've kind of been, we've been pulling close to that 21-day moving average. We're still below the pivot. The pivot is 477.26 on this one. And so this sort of technical what I'm going into. I hope it doesn't bore too much, but what I'm starting to see here, and this is very interesting, is the stochastic indicator, and it's pointing up, which means that it's going from over an oversold position to an overbought position, but there's momentum on the upward trend. You can't use any one of these indicators, for everything, but this is showing some nice action. The relative strength, the relative strength line is moving up here. It was on the ready list. It was one of the only ones that was up on the ready list today. I'm going to for the people on YouTube, I'm definitely show you the ready list here. Unfortunately, I can't do that for TikTok, but let's move over to that ready list. Um, these are the stocks today that were in the ready list that were up, but two of them, Dino DINO and NOC, which is Northrop Grumman, they have positive action on the stochastics. So very, very interesting here that we have that. So just kind of going through kind of why I'm looking at this one in particular. I haven't bought it yet, but there's a lot of momentum coming in here. Again, that's sort of in this area here. So you can see these fast and slow indicators are moving up. Now, what the stochastics basically do is show the momentum, and we want to get it in an upward trend. Currently, that's in an upward trend. We also want to see the relative strength in an upward trend, and we also want to see it coming off of a major index line, such as the 50-day average. So let's kind of look also at the some of the checklists here. It's not a tremendous checklist like we have in some of the other oil stocks, but it's acceptable. It's 67%, which is good. This is NOC Northrop Grumman. And I think the reason there's been buying on this one has been, the fact that, unfortunately, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, but we definitely, Northrop Grumman is selling, it's going to be probably benefiting from an arms sale to Taiwan. I don't think Red China is going to be very interested in that, but definitely the case here. On the technicals, another thing too is this is viable because it's right basically within 5% of that very critical 21-day moving average. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So you might want to, on your list, and again, I haven't bought this one yet, so I definitely haven't bought this one yet, but this is one that you might want to put on your list as a potential, and that's NOC, and that's Northrop Grumman. I think I spelled that right. Hopefully, I did. So it's Northrop, and that's one that I think possibly could be kind of in your list. It looks as if we're seeing a lot of nice buying act coming in there. This is the one, two, three, four. This is the fifth update in a down market. So now I suspect tomorrow we're going to get a little bit of a down day. That's typically what happens. Most stocks will not move up more than 5 days at a time. But this is definitely looking good. So I probably wouldn't be a buyer of this one tomorrow, but I definitely think it's worth putting on your radar. It's Northrop Grumman, and I also want to show you some of the other things in that we have here with Northrop, and let's take a look at their fundamental. We'll do a little fundamental analysis here to see if we can count on any of those things. One of the things that is a little bit concerning for me is that we have declining sales here, but with this order from with this order potentially from Taiwan, this might be of interest. We do have an increasing number of funds that are in this one. About 49% of funds are in, and the next year's estimates on it. Let's take a look there. They're saying we're gonna have a sales increase of five. Not a lot, but in this market, it's definitely something that is very positive. Also, I want to look at another oil stock, and that one is Dino, which is Sinclair Oil, Dino. I don't know if you remember these Sinclair stations like I do, but just myself a little bit. But their symbol is the brontosaurus. I always thought that was pretty neat. And this one, also, if we're looking at the stochastic indicator here, uh, excuse me, this one is starting to make its move up, and that is indeed a good thing. This is a momentum indicator. Again, we're going from um, oversold and then to overbought. So definitely showing the right kind of indication. This is a strong, and let's see, put it over here to everybody on that's watching on YouTube. By the way, if you want to see the complete charts and you're watching on TikTok, super easy. Just jump on over to youtube.com/Dell's Trading Floor. On this one, I kind of want to show you this. We have this handle here, which is looking good, and we've made a move positive to the upside. Again, we're very close to the 21-day moving average. I probably will be buying this one tomorrow. Not a large position, probably only a half position here, but a little bit better checklist than Northrop Grumman. So that's looking pretty decent. On the pattern recognition, we're about 7% below the pivot. So this, in this kind of market, we want to buy them below the pivot. It's just a tough market to trade, but this, hopefully, if we get a little momentum here, and that's kind of being indicated by the stochastic indicator that we've got here. So the momentum is starting to turn up on it. We're starting to get some buying coming in here. So we will see if this one is good. This is a Dino, and so this one might be also. Again, I don't own this one currently, but DINO is the symbol on this one. So you might want to take a look at this one too. This is definitely on my watch list. Again, it's probably tired because it's in it's in the oil and gas area. But one of the things I like about this one is that it's in an area of the market where it's mostly refining. So that's one area we're seeing a lot of interest in refining. Those two, Northrop, NOC, and Dino, are looking fairly good. So those are the ones that just wanted to point out here. Also, if you've been watching, you know, this is currently the two stocks that I own. I mean, it's pretty pathetic that I only own two stocks currently. One of them, of course, is a oil stock. That's PBR, not Pabst Blue Ribbon, but Petrobras, which is the Brazilian oil. That's on lower volume. And then, of course, Cheniere Energy LNG. Now, there was a little bit of a hiccup today on some of the LNG. Warren Buffett owns a competing company to LNG that has a terminal for liquefied natural gas, and that one has been shut down for maintenance. So, but it doesn't seem to affect LNG. So I'm still in there on LNG. Let's kind of take a look at the chart of the LNG just really quickly here before we get into the questions. Thank you for being so accommodating on that. All right. So here we go. This is this is the chart on LNG, and let's see if I can push it over to the people for TikTok. Again, showing the stochastic indicator here, not quite as much of a momentum turn as we had with quite as much of a momentum turn as we had um, with Dyna with NOC, Northrop Grumman, but this is starting to, it's about in the mid range of overbought, oversold, but we're starting to see an increase in terms of volume. Was a little bit of a sell off today. It definitely was down, but we're pretty darn close to to the, um, um, the 21-day line. We're about 7% off it. So probably not the greatest place to come into it here. Well, you could definitely buy it here, but probably not the best place because it's close to it's a little bit far away from the pivot. I probably would not buy it here, but I since I'm a holder, I'm not going to sell it either. So that's kind of that's kind of the take on it that I've got. I put the wrong sign up there. This is LNG, and it's Cheniere Energy. That's the name of the company, and of course they're in the natural gas. It's not a bad thing there at all. All right, taking a look at the small portfolio, I really have almost nothing in the small portfolio. All I really have is Petrobras, PBR, and it's hanging in there. I wish it was a little bit better, but beggars can't be choosers. I have very light exposure right now in my portfolio. As you can tell, I'm almost all in cash. Let's take a look for that. Let's take a look at what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the stochastics here. There we go. Boom. All right. So now we're off. This is gonna give us a little bit better. Yeah. This is a relatively inexpensive stock. Of course, this is in Brazilian reals, so that's part of the reason for the price. But 13.54 is where it closed. Of course, it doesn't trade after hours because these are ADRs, but it's coming right up to the pivot, and it's basically right at the 21-day moving average. And of course, that potentially is a good place to buy it. It's almost right on it. It's 0.24 below the 21-day line. You could move into it here. Very strong stock. Relative strength is 99. Basically, it's in the top 1% currently of the stocks in the market right now in terms of the way it's performing. So it's definitely holding up, and it's doing quite well. Again, the checklist very strong at 89, but so it's one of the only only one of the only oil and gas stocks that I do own currently. So I'm trying to find good ones to buy. Probably, I'm looking at Dyno. That's looking fairly good in terms of the on the technical indicators, and then I also might be a buyer of Northrop Grumman tomorrow, but I'm just not sure. If I did, of course, the position sizes would be much smaller. They'd be half size positions more than likely. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here today. All right, let's take some questions. Thank you so very much for holding on here. Brian. Thank you for taking a look at the show today. Market emotionally draining ideas are just not pretty. Boy, you are not kidding. This is a tough market to trade. Again, I'm sort of, I'm hiding in my little shell and just poking out, not doing a whole lot. As you can tell, I'm mostly in cash. I'm about, 85% or well, I'm actually a little bit more than that if you total up all the portfolios that I have. I'm about 95% in cash right now. And I don't think we've totally bottomed on the market. We're going to have a big day on the Fed, and I do think we're going to get a raise on the Fed funds, unfortunately. And I think that's going to kill a number of sectors of the economy. Biggest being one of the biggest being home builders. I think home builders are going to be hurt. I'm trying to run through my screens to see if we can do, potentially. And I haven't done it yet. A short on probably on Lennar LEN. It's looking like it's setting up, but boy, it's a tough market to trade. I'm not short anything right now just because of a number of factors. I mean, if there was more confirmation, if there was more of a trend, then I would be shorting here. But it's very volatile. The trends are lasting 3 to 4 days, so it's just not a way to trade. I don't think you need to stop trading, but I think you just need to kind of just be very, very cautious. Try to trade, 25% of your portfolio. Don't trade 100%. Just be careful. Pull back, and it's times like this when everyone throws in the towel. That's when the market turns. I don't think that's going to happen yet, but I think that's coming. So just be careful there. All right, we have a question on Tesla. This is coming from a user on TikTok. Thank you so much for taking a look, always. But this is everybody's favorite stock. Now, here's the problem with Tesla. Last year and the year before, we did so great on Tesla. It was outperforming the market big time. Right now, unfortunately, it's basically a market perform stock, and I wish that wasn't the case because I do love it. I think the technology is exciting. There's just a lot of things, but right now, this is just a market perform stock. It really isn't outstanding. And what I'm really looking for, of course, is a stock and stocks that have the ability to outperform the market. 'Cause I'm really only interested in the top 20%. And right now, unfortunately, that's not the case with Tesla. As you can see, it came right up basically to this about 314 level, and then it just kind of got rejected. So I definitely think we're going to get it. It's going to move sideways here. That's my guess. It's in this consolidation, but we're nowhere near the top of the consolidation, which is about 400. So it's basically been trading around 300. Not really a great time to get in it, but it does have a fairly good relative strength. But remember, part of the issue in this market is because the overall market has been moving lower, the relative thing that's maintaining is getting stronger. So relative strength is important always, but even a 93 relative strength in this kind of market probably is not a great thing. If we were in a ascending market, anything above 80 would be excellent. But in a market that's declining, the stocks that are holding their own, they're getting higher relative strength anyway. So that's kind of how that indicator works. If we were to look at the stochastic, and I'm just really getting my wings with the stochastic indicators, but this is kind of an interesting. This is a momentum indicator. Here's the problem that we're seeing in Tesla right now. It's essentially overbought. As you can see, that's 90 level here. You see how this moves up and down, and when it reaches here, it's probably going to be moving down. So the momentum is moving away from TikTok right now. I mean, excuse me, it's moving away from Tesla right now, and not a good thing. So here's kind of my take on here's my take on it. I just think you've got to I think Tesla is not a buy. It's just not a buy right now. I'm not buying it. Why? Because it's just not performing like I'd like to see it. So that's kind of my take on Tesla. Let's take another question. Thank you very much. This is Bombadoc. Love it. By the way, if you want to jump, if you're on Tesla, if you're on TikTok and you want to jump on over to the YouTube feed, super duper easy. Just go to the link in my profile, click on that, and you'll be able to see the live feed of the show right now. So, kind of a good thing. How does BDU look to you? Are they paying off debt? Yeah, absolutely. Well, BTU, for everyone out there that doesn't know this, is is Peabody Coal, and because everybody, at least in the at least in the ETF, at least in the ERG, I think it's ERG community seems to hate this stock because it's coal. I definitely think that there may be something there. So let's take a look at BTU. This is Peabody Coal. This is one of the biggest of the coal companies, and the coal business has been a very good business with the problems that they're having in Europe with conditions. Now, interestingly enough, if we look at that stochastic indicator again, we are basically not over. We are not oversold. We are not overbought. We are not oversold. So we're starting to see the momentum start to move. So this is a good call here, Doc. It came down essentially to that the 200-day moving average, and look, it bounced very nicely. If you look at the indicator, it's starting to turn up, and we definitely like to buy them when they're down here at about 20, moving in the upward trend. So the trend is your friend, as they say, and the trend on this one is definitely up. Let's take a look at a few more of the indicators that we use, and that, of course, is the checklist. The checklist is looking pretty good, 78%, so that's looking pretty decent here. On the pattern recognition, there really is no pattern for this stock. It's just been kind of all over the place. And on the technicals, we are basically within shooting range here. We're basically within 5% of that critical 21-day moving average. So, it's showing some nice action here, and it's a potential place that you could get in. You could get into the stock. So I definitely like that fact. Now let's look at some of the fundamentals on it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and let's take a look at some of those fundamentals and kind of look to see if there's anything that just pops out at us that is not working. Well, the sales certainly have been good. Look at that, 72%, 6%, 83%. So we're starting to see some very nice action here. Very, very low PE ratio, and that's not uncommon for these stocks because there are these stocks have basically it's a cash and carry business. There's no technology. This is about the oldest technology out there, but the PE ratio on this one is excellent at 4. So basically, the price of the stock is you get if you own the stock at this current price, you're going to get back all your investment in 4 years. So that's pretty darn good. Return on equity, of course, 25%. And look at that cash flow. So if you're looking for cash flow, this one's looking pretty good. And the thing is, it says cents are due, but they're going to pay. Looks like they're going to be able to pay off their senior notes. So it's interesting. They're becoming more of the equity play. So that's an interesting thing. That we're seeing there. So definitely like that one. I definitely think that, if you're not in it already, let's see if technically we can buy it. I think we can. Yeah, this one's buyable. I mean, absolutely buyable. Again, if you buy this one, we're coming up to that 21-day line, so that's looking pretty decent in terms of one that you could buy right now. So I like that. I definitely like that. It's in the right area. I mean, the resource area, the oil and gas, coal, those boring areas of the market have and continue to do the best. Uh, One of the things is I know I got wind of a private equity deal, not stock deal, a few days ago, where a large group of investors are essentially buying coal mines in West Virginia of all the kinds of things because it looks as if the the German government doesn't have enough coal to keep it warm this winter in Europe. So I think we're going to see we're going to see more strength in coal. Here's the thing about a coal mine, it doesn't you can't just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want a coal mine," it takes about 5 to 10 years to make a coal mine happen. So basically, we can reopen. They can reopen coal mines, and that's kind of what this private equity deal that I found out about is doing. But you really can't make a new one. It takes about 5 to 10 years. So I think this is looking good. BTU looks like a winner. Looks like a winning play to me. So the problem in the coal area is there's just not a whole lot to buy. There's a few, or there's BTU. There's a few of them, but it's a relatively thinly traded area in terms of public companies that are in this. So, but the action looks very good. If you were to buy here, I think it's looking good. It's off, 1 cent after hours, but looking good all the way around. So thanks for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. That's a good stock. So that's a good stock to see. Let's take a look to see somebody else uh, some from TikTok. Oh, Microsoft. Here's the thing. Here's another thing about stocks like Microsoft and Tesla. Unfortunately, the tech stocks, the big ones, are just they're market performance stocks right now. They just are not. They're not. They're not exceeding the market. And since the market is an overall downward trend, I don't think it could be. And I'll show you the chart on Microsoft here and why I would be extremely careful about buying Microsoft here. In 2017, I did extremely well with Microsoft. It was coming out of a long sleep. It had been basically I hadn't traded it since 2001, and it took basically from 2001 to get all the way back to where it had been in 2001 in 2017. I know I'm going into a lot of stuff, but right now, here's the problem with Microsoft. As you can see, it's sort of in this downward trend. We don't ever want to buy anything when it's in a downward trend. It's just, as great a company as this is, and it is a great company, there's a lot of selling going on here. The volume is, and here's the thing: when you see the selling above this line, this is the average daily volume, and remember this is exponential scale. There's a lot of selling of Microsoft going on here, so just not a good time to be in Microsoft. So right now, I just think you got to stay out of the techs, and this is still it's still not the time to buy a tech stock. So, MSFT is not a buy now. So, that's just the long and the short of it. You gotta be careful. So Microsoft just isn't a buy, and I think you gotta be kinda careful there. All right, let's go to another question from, um there we go. Part of the screen now. All right, interestingly enough, Jay says, "I'm shorting Costco at the 450 strike, wish me luck." Okay, well, let's take a look at Jay's. You may be right. I think Jay that might be a good. I definitely wish you luck on the Colorado. I did sell my position in BJ's. I'm glad I did. Let's take a look at that at 450. So that's pretty aggressive, man. That's pretty aggressive. Um, but it definitely looks like it's moving up towards the line there. So let's see if I hope this works for you, man. I really do. Um, you could be right. You could be right. Now, here's the thing: if you do get a gain on this one, cover it quickly. If you get a 10% or so gain, consider covering it because. But that might work. That definitely might work. Interesting stock. I want to take a look at this one and compare it to BJ's here, and there we go. There's Costco. Putting that up here for all the people on TikTok. And let's go to BJ's. This is the one I sold, but I want to see how it's doing. Yeah, it's still doing better than Costco. I'm gonna flip on over to that one. There we go. Here's the comparison chart between Costco and BJ's. You're definitely right here, Jay. There definitely has been this downward trend on it. So it's definitely in a clear downward trend. The question is how low it will go. I think it probably is likely to go a little bit more, about probably 10% more, it looks like. This was beaches. I was until yesterday, this was holding, but I think it also changed trends to the downside too. But I kind of look at both of those just to see kinda how it would look. But, good luck, and I think, I wish you luck. I think, unfortunately, retail sales will probably be off, so hopefully it will be well. But if you come up and you make about 10% on that, I would really be, um, quick on the trigger. Take your profits quickly if you get profit on that, and best of luck. Best of luck. Let's, take a look at the spider. Um, take a look at the spider here. Switch that over. Oops. Here's the spider, and unfortunately for us, because I like it when it goes up, I'm not so much on it going down, especially when I can't really short, which is sort of the situation now. But the spider has been moving lower, as you can see. Um, Basically, what I'm looking at is, we've got some support right about 371. So I'm afraid if we continue on this path, we're going to probably go lower. Let me take a look at the stochastics on it to see if we're overbought or so. Okay, so we're definitely oversold, but it's still trending downwards. That's interesting. So interesting. You know what? We're going to possibly see this pop here in the next few days. So wait until after the report. Because we're in an oversold position here for the spider, but it's still pointing down. If it points, I think that we may see a reversal on the spider. Currently, the spider was off today at 384.23. So interesting here, but according to the stochastics, it looks like we may see a reversal on this one relatively quickly, probably by Thursday. So be careful on that one. I don't. I think we're going to rest the downward trend. I think there may be a dead cat pounce on the market, probably after the Fed announcement on the interest rates. So pretty interesting there. But thanks for that, Christina. Appreciate it. And Mr. G, let's take a look at CTRA. I'm not familiar with CTRA, but let me take a quick gander and see kind of what's going on here. Yeah. Okay, this is an energy company. Always like those energy companies. I'm big on that right now, at least. So it's the only love I'm seeing in the market. Interesting. Interesting chart here. What we're seeing, of course, is we're in it's in a downward trend, but it looks like it's gaining some traction. We definitely have a. Let's see. I want to see just kind of what the checklist is good. On the technicals, we're pretty close to the 21-day line. Would I buy it here? I don't know. I'm a little bit gun shy here, but I think we're going to get some support at that. Oops. I think we're likely to get some support at the 50-day line. It's looking like that. I mean, it came down and then we've rallied and then we came down. So it seems like it's sort of going sideways right about here. So that's interesting. So right about 28, kind of where we are. So definitely, there's still a lot of selling pressure on this one. So, I would wait maybe and see if this thing turns up. But right now, there's a little bit of selling pressure that hasn't been relieved. So I think it's likely to go down a little bit more. Now with VET, this is a Canadian oil driller, one of the ones that I really like actually. So let's take a look and see this one. Still, even with all the trouble in the market, and I know it's kind of it's sort of been it's been getting a lot of play, but the only real place in the market that we're really seeing strength still is in the oil and gas, and that's really been the case since the first part of the year. Let's take a look at VET. This is Vermilion Energy, and I think it's traded on the Toronto and on the American Exchange. I'm not sure. Um, Still, it's a cup without a handle, so it definitely fall below that 21-day line. But unfortunately, the momentum is still going down on this one. So there has been a fair amount of selling momentum, which I don't really totally understand because I do think that, I think it has to do a lot with the overall price of oil. That's really been the key here. And I kind of want to look at here is comparing the overall price of oil with potentially uh, you know with Vermilion. So let's see if we can do that, and let's see if I can add that. Oops. All right. ET. Let's see if that comes up. Well, it's not giving any, not giving me anything there. All right. Let's see if we can come up with that. All right. There we go. There's Vermilion. And we're going to rate that against um, the oil, crude oil. Okay. Take a little bit for this is against the index. So we're going to see this against the index here in just a second. So this is Vermilion. For some reason, I'm not getting. This is Vermilion, so it's kind of been all over the place, and I'm still not getting the West Texas Intermediate. I suspect it's going to be fairly close to this line. Boy, I tell you, if you had bought Vermilion at the beginning of a year ago, you would have been up 300%. So that's telling you where the strength is. So I think in general the oils are doing good, but I don't really have any. And Vermilion is one of the better ones. So definitely, if you're in it, I would stay in it. But I don't think you would want to enter it here at this price. It's just one of those things. All right, let's see if I can. Oh, here we go. Can we short Tesla going to 300? Wow, you know what? I wouldn't short Tesla here. I don't see it. I just don't think it's a good short. I don't think it's a good short because it's just so widely held. I definitely think there is. I definitely think there is momentum, but it's you're right. It's trading from about 300 to 314. I'd be really careful shorting it here. Just it doesn't show the right. It just doesn't seem like a good setup. So that's my opinion. All right, let's look at CQP. Thanks, Lost in Love. I love that. All right, CQP. I don't know what that is offhand. Usually pretty good on those, but let's see. That is Cheniere Energy Partners. Okay, this is interesting because this is there are two Chenieres. There's LNG, of course, which is the Cheniere company, and then there's the company that that does it's is involved in I think in the cargoes. I'm not exactly sure, but very interesting. This is an LNG play, which, as you know, I've been very bullish on LNG in general. Um, and let's see what we're going up here. So this one, oh yeah, I can see why you were interested in this one today. You definitely, this is a blue dot, which on my, um, and does it look like yeah, it's a little getting overbought here. I'd be a little bit careful. I think it's going to come right up here, but I think it's going to pull back. How far? Let's see how far away from the 21-day line is. Well, we're 4%. So you could buy it here. Very strong checklist. Look at that, 78%. That's good. Um, hmm, is that buyable? I like this. I like the idea of this. Let me turn off the stochastics here. There we go. Okay, so let's just yeah, this is looking good. This is in a cup formation with a. It's just starting a handle here. Here's what I would do. I would wait on this one, but I definitely think you could buy it if it moves up this reversal line here. So it looks like it is moving closer to the pivot. Let's look at the pivot. The pivot. There we go. Here's the pivot. It's about 3% below. So yeah, this is viable. Interesting, interesting company. Thanks for bringing this one. Lost in Love. Thanks for bringing this one up. This is sort of the companion to LNG. So I'm very interested to find out the relative performance of this one uh, related to um, um, LNG, which is the main stock. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so this is interesting. So it has been. Let's look at the performance here, and basically what I'm doing here is going to go back over here and take a look at the performance. All right, here we go. So this is the performance of these two stocks. Of course, one is Cheniere and then one is Cheniere Energy Partners. This is Cheniere Energy Partners. This is Cheniere. LNG has been outperforming, as you can see. It's quite significantly, actually. If you had started with $100 at the beginning of the year, um, in both of them, you'd have 150 if you're at Energy Partners and 200 money you were in Cheniere itself. So I would probably be looking at LNG as opposed to Energy Partners, but they're both very good. We definitely have in terms of both of them, we have a increase, improving relative strength line. So, but looking at both of these here critically, I think you've got to take the a position in near G over Energy Partners. Let me see if I can. Um, let's take a look here. Yeah, see if this is viable. So you can see this is showing where I did my purchasing of Cheniere, and I definitely like this stock a lot. I like the industry too. So okay, so if we're looking at Cheniere, unfortunately, yeah. Here's the thing: Cheniere Energy Partners is viable, but unfortunately, LNG, which I own, is um, is not because it's extended. So that kind of gives you the long and the short of it. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's see if we have. Um, do we sell to TBT? Yes, this is a good question from this is a question coming from TikTok. Do we sell the TBT before the Fed meeting? And here's my take on that. I think yes. I think we do because we can't depend on the Fed. So let's look at the TBT. That's a very good point. That I don't know who made that on TikTok, but that is an extremely good point. I think we sell it, and the reason I do is because we just can't. We don't want to fight the Fed, so we can buy it back, but we just don't want to fight that Fed. So even though it's been moving nicely, let's see how far off that 10-day line it is. It's about 3% above and it's 6% above. I think we do. I think the best thing to do if you're holding the TBT right now, and what the TBT is for everybody out there, it's an ETF that tracks the 20-year bond. And why is this important? Well, as we know, probably if we've taken a finance class or even not, uh, if interest rates go up, typically the value of bonds go down. But this is an inverse ETF, so it tracks the increase in the it tracks the increase in the interest rates. Now, here's the interesting thing about this one. Remember, we're going to get a move if it's more or less than expected. The expected rate rise is 0.75% now. So right now, if we were to get that 0.75, it would probably be flat. But what I think is we may get a percentage increase, a 1% increase, or maybe even a 1.25% increase. If that were the case, this would probably fall. So I think it's best if you've got profits in this right now, take your profits because it's just unpredictable in terms of how that's going to move. So not so I would be a seller. I don't currently hold it, but I would be a seller of it before that Fed funds rate. All right. Well, we've got basically one or two more questions, and that's it. Okay. So, how low can the indexes go, Jim? Boy, I wish I had a crystal ball and I could tell you that. I think they're going to go a lot lower. My take is we've got about another 20% to go down. and I don't like saying that. It's not with joy that I'm saying this, but I definitely think we've got another 20% to put in. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to have some rallies because what's going to happen is just like everything else, nothing goes down in a straight line. It goes down, and then it rallies, and then it goes down again. So let's look at all three indexes together and just to compare them. And of course, the first is the Nasdaq, which is basically the technology. I mean, you're going to have that's where you're going to have that's where you're going to have it. So the Nasdaq Composite, get that first, and then let's look at the um, let's look at the S&P. Uh, S&P 500, and let's look at the Dow. Yeah. The Dow Jones. All right. So the question is, let's kind of look at them. Unfortunately for us, we're still in a situation where the indexes are moving lower. I did that. I wish I could say that. Oh, they're going up, but no, they're not. They're going down. And if we compare the three indexes against each other, let's see. And unfortunately, the um, the uh, the S&P is a little bit faint. This is I don't think you can see it. It's the green line there. That's the S&P. This is the Dow. Track and the Nasdaq is going down. So right now, what is this telling us? Well, we had a little bit of a bump up here in August, but the trend, and the trend is your friend. Remember that is still downward. So I definitely think we've got a little bit of more pain. I think we've got 20% more to move down. Right now, the index that's taking it the hardest is the Nasdaq. So that means technology stocks. You got to be super careful buying them right now. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a buyer of Microsoft or even Tesla, and I'm looking to the commodity stocks that are in natural gas or the boring stocks, the commodity stocks. Those are what's working. So basically, that is it. Well, thank you very, very much for watching today. So appreciate everybody. It's so much fun when my system is working, and it seems to be working today. So it's so much fun to to do it when I'm not when my system isn't crashing on me like it was yesterday. So thanks for bearing with me yesterday. Had a little bit of technical difficulties there. If you're not already a member of the Action Trade Alerts, just super duper easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com and first and last name and an email address will get you on our list. Also, we have a special Discord where a, a chat group. It's a Discord group, and we look at entries and exits from particular stocks, and just any questions that you want to ask during the trading day. So that's also available as well. Um, I've got access the next 2 days to there's a big shindig in New York, and hopefully I'm going to be attending most of the sessions virtually. Hopefully, I can report on them to you tomorrow and on Thursday. So if you're in the Discord room, I'm going to try to be uh, staying up to date as they're happening. But so that's what I'm going to be up to tomorrow. So if you're not already a member of, as I say, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. Also, please, 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 it super helps me out here. And I know I mention it all the time, but it really helps. It really, really helps. If you could like and if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel uh, and also like it, that would be really, really great. So hit that like button, smash that like button, and we will be back here tomorrow at 5 Central Time. Hope to see you then. Happy trading.